You don't want to. Right. Well, what do you?
Good to go.
Either show and tell or my presentation first.
Oh,
And
I
then
do
business at the end.
All right.
All right, we got a bad camera.
Whose camera?
It's Stewart's.
No?
Yeah, Stuart.
Just unhighlight him. Or unspotlight him.
Stuart, your camera is okay.
Yeah, I had some problems with it.
Okay, good. All right. Well, we see you loud and clear now, or at least clear. All righty. To take advantage of the time limit that this projector up here seems to be affording us, we're going to switch things up a little bit. So why don't we do the show and tell and presentation first, and then we'll get to the meat later, in case the projector decides to act up as usual. So with that in mind, why don't we just kick it right into the show and tell? And I guess, Dave, is that you up front there?
That's mine.
Oh, that's yours.
That's mine. We can save that for the presentation. So
Okay. All right. Well, then, why don't we start out with John? Yeah. No, please. And you have the camera right up there.
Yep. So I like the setup we had where we had a camera behind the table, so that was always on the model, and then this one looking at the person. But right now we only have.
We have this camera.
Do we
running
have
too? Yeah, this one's running.
Okay.
Do you have one where I can just show the interior, because that's the only.
All right. Well, we can try and set up two, or you can just hold this steady if you wish to do it that way.
Okay.
It's up to you. We need to spotlight our camera. Stuart, not that we don't like you, but we're going to take you off the main screen here. Light. All right, so that's this one. If you want to.
Yeah, if you want to do the handheld one for just a few minutes.
And where is that? Let's see it. Is it not registering?
Should be in there.
We have to. All right.
There we go.
All right.
All right.
All right. So last month I had finished the exterior, finished the stern, the transom area, put in all the decorations and stuff. This past month I've been working on the interior. So you can see I have completed the interior bulwarks. Up back in the captain's area, I have done the paneling. And then I have done the mast partners. So the four partners here, the stove and the slate base for it. And then I've done all of the hatches going down. The gratings are all boxwood, laser cut. Here's the main partner. Then the capstan. Don had asked me last month how the capstans would work with the deck, so I thought I'd throw in some of the deck beams so you could see how the deck beams work around the capstan. You can see the capstan partner, and I don't know if you can see all the little bolt nails in the partners in the after hatch. And that is the progress that I've made. Hopefully during the holidays, I'm hoping I can start working on the decking. I have to mill up a bunch of holly to be able to start laying that. So that's sort of my next project, is to take some of the holly that I have and mill it down into planks so I can start laying the deck. Dave was kind enough to give me a small piece of ebony, and I'm going to be using the ebony with the holly to try to see if I can represent the captain's canvas deck, painted canvas deck for the aft, and that's my one.
Sean, how did you make the cabin floor?
So that particular cabin floor is a laser cut floor that Siren Model Company provides as part of the Chapter 4. That's not the deck I'm going to be using. I really do want the traditional white and black checkerboard painted canvas that traditionally would have been on a ship of this era. So I'm going to, like I said, make mine out of ebony and holly and actually show it as a black and white checker.
So when do you hope to have this complete?
So I started this January of 2023. There's 12 chapters in the Practum. I am on the latter half of chapter 4, so kind of do the math. So I have done parts of chapter 5, parts that the beams, getting them sanded and fitted is part of chapter 7. I'm jumping around. Chapter 11 is the channel plates. So yeah, I'm jumping around.
So what you're saying, this is a retirement project?
I hope not. I hope not. I am, rigging and everything like that. I bet I still have every bit of 3 to 4 years, maybe 5.
How far are you going to take the rigging?
I'm going to fully rig it, but no sails. Yeah, it won't have sails, but it will be fully masted. Is the plan? We'll see. I might, I might not. I might get frustrated at that point.
Impressive. Thank you.
I got to do a lot of research on the masting because this particular class of frigate, I haven't been able to find plans for rigging yet. So.
Not even in one of those books.
No, classes on either side of it, so I'm going to probably have to play with it. But.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. All right. Let me see. Who's next? Hey, would you like to move up?
I'm flattered, by the way, that you mistook my model for one of Dave's.
So,
They kind of look the same. They're upside down.
so this is New Bedford whaleboat from the Eric Ronberg plans. Work continues. There are 4 more planks on than when I brought it in last month. There's 3 more to go. It's been interesting. The planks are full length because it's in 1/16 scale, so the real boat would have had a full length plank. It's very hard to, much easier to work when they're in separate segments, I think. And the other interesting thing about it is when you get to here, where the planks are really curved, where things are really curving. Usually when you plank, you're bending this way, your edge bending up a little bit. But this one actually gets put into form so that the plank gets bent this way too. So a cove molding and a big 1-inch dowel and squeezing it in between when it's wet. So you get the curve in this direction as well.
Who's bouncing around out there?
Might be Stuart.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Dave.
So the plans are from Eric Ronberg, which are the same plans that the model shipway kit uses.
What boat is that, Dave?
It's just a New Bedford whaleboat. Yeah, although they're, a ton of it's exactly the same.
Oh, beautiful. All righty. Who's next? Anyone over here? Eric's table? Nobody?
I've got another Denmark slideshow.
Okay.
If no one else wants to show a model.
Well, why don't you roll into that last, and then you can go into that. I have a disc in there. USB.
Okay.
There's some pictures.
What about online?
And while he's pulling that up, I wanted to shameless plug. Show the latest issue of the IPMS magazine. For those of you who are not IPMS members, there's a conspicuous name on the cover. I was honored to be able to have my model that took some of the prizes there at the show on the front cover and a feature article inside.
I was going to say you were mentioned quite a bit in
Well,
there.
yeah,
All the different categories you won.
shameless, isn't it?
I didn't do that though.
Anyways, it was quite an honor,
In order to
and
do the
I'm
show.
quite proud of it. So if you're interested in joining the IPMS, it's a great magazine. And although the emphasis is kind of towards plastic kits, there are many more genres in there, as you're well aware from the shows.
It's not a spread like this.
And you can pick up a lot of techniques, painting, weathering, and so forth. So it is.
Can I see that?
Oh yeah.
I'm a member, but they didn't know me one.
Huh.
There's all sorts of things about they've been having problems with the mailings. A lot of people didn't get them.
Okay.
Did you find my?
Magazine.
Okay, there it is. Yeah, we start there. Okay, the update on my Zircon. As I progress, and I'm sure many of you also probably use the same technique, you gotta eventually end up with a checklist. Make sure you don't skip those little things at the end. And so I've been scratching off my my list quite handily, and I'm getting pretty close now. You can go to the next. I'm down to the fine details. See if that works. I'm getting to the fine details now, and this is the beginnings of the mast that I put on it. It uses a wood dowel for the core, and then photo etched gratings and so forth. I'm just adding some details, some banding, little bell.
The dowel looks quite smooth. You have like a sandable primer on there to take out the
Yeah,
grain.
yeah. I mean, I sanded it down and primed it several times in order to fill the grain. The ladder and some of the duct work that goes up the ladder, I put in brass and then assembled it and attached it to the masting. And as the pictures go, it's just fleshing out, adding the little details, the yard arm, the wiring, all the little fittings, ladders, and so forth. Beyond this, really all I have to do is the running rigging. All the standing rigging is up, and just the figures, ropes, and just some weathering, and so forth. Here's a close-up of some of the lamps that I turned acrylic. These probably are about, 3/16 tall. Some of the bridge work, wiring, the bells and whistles and alarms. My little fire extinguisher. Rather proud of that. But it's coming along, and I hope to have it complete by the show in Richmond in February. I think it's what is the February show? It's like 24th or something. That's late. Last Saturday. So I still have time. Here's back to Warren. You recognize some of those casks. Those are the casks that Warren was
Yeah, they turned out good.
yeah to print for me, and he's also printing out some fire buckets that will be on the deck too.
Warren, you have a 3D printer?
No, it's one of the guys I work with
Okay.
that does them for us.
Somebody in the club was asking if anyone who in the club had one and might be willing to work with them.
Yeah, Bob Zinnin
Yeah.
just recently announced that he was going to attempt to get into the 3D printing game. I wish him luck.
Yeah.
Printing is easy. It's all that other nonsense that goes before it. Anyways, one of the several rafts, this is a 25-man raft that has been mounted, and then the backside of it with the netting and some provisions and stuff. It still needs a lot of rigging and tethering and stuff, but it's just in position now. Yeah, there's the cask. That's a nice picture of some of them. And that pretty much is where I am as of yesterday. And that the boat's yet to be hung, and I've got a whole lot of time to put into it yet. But once I can get it done. And that's where I am with that. And then I think, Greg, why don't you go in with your thing and then roll right into your presentation.
I will, unless there's someone else in the room or online that wants to
Oh, yeah,
say
yeah, I'm
something.
sorry. Yeah, you guys online.
I'll go ahead and do my, well, the screen's already shared. I'll go ahead and do my slideshow.
do yours,
between
Greg.
that.
And come to you guys online.
All right, so as Gene will tell you, I took a lot of pictures while we were in Denmark, and I tried to curate them for show and tell, but there's going to be a lot. So I'm going to go through them pretty quickly so I don't take too much time. If I go too quickly, just speak up and say, ask me to go back.
Not quickly enough.
Yeah, that too. You can scream out, move it along. So just a refresher, we started out in Copenhagen and I showed you what we did the day we arrived in a previous slideshow. And then the next day we took a day trip to Roskilde, which is where we took our swim. And the third day we took a day trip up to Helsingør. I showed that at the last meeting. Today is days 4 and 5. I got Gene out of bed really early in the morning, and we got to the airport and rented a car and drove out to, the cursor's showing up, right? Online?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Drove out to this tip here and took a ferry over to Ebeltoft, where the frigate Yulin is on display. And after seeing that in the town, we went to Silkeborg for dinner with a coworker from the time that I lived in Denmark. And then we went and spent the night in a small town called Rue. The next morning, on the way to a museum here in Esbjerg, we stopped in Jelling, which is, I meant to look up some of the details so I get the date right, but it's an old Viking fortress from like 900 AD. And then after the museum here, we did just not quick as it was intended to be, drive-by of a castle here in Kolding, and then spent the night in Odense, which is where I lived back in 2001, 2002. So with that intro, this was our ride from one island to the mainland, and I'll show a video of that later. Oh yeah, the video is showing up. Okay, I'm going to speed this up if I can. I think there's a speed control in here. There is in a different app that I've used. I don't see it here. All right, well, anyway, this was pretty impressive how they backed this up. There's not even a slide bar to advance it.
Down at the bottom.
Oh,
right
there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's maybe the speeds in here.
Does it have engine pods?
Yeah, they're directed water jets. Anyway, I'll speed this up. Yeah, or forward it. So anyway, I was quite impressed with that. And we zipped right across the water there. All right, no, it won't advance. There we go. So we drove onto the lower deck. We didn't go up this ramp, but I took a picture of it anyway. And then there's the car deck. I didn't get any pictures of the interior, which is too bad because it was pretty nice. They had like two different restaurants and tables and seating and all.
They even had a business class.
Yeah. I took so this is inside the museum attached to the frigate, and I only took a picture of this because I'm no expert on rigging ships, but I always thought the tail end of it went up the standing part. I'd never seen it wrapped around and secured like that. That was interesting. Is it always done like this, or sometimes done like this?
That's the first time I've seen it done like
Yeah.
that. Me too.
Okay, that's why I took the picture. It seemed different. I guess that's the Danish way. There's this interesting cutaway model. Those are the lower 3 decks, and there's the upper 3 decks. I mean, there's only 4. There's I couldn't get all four in one view. It's pretty crudely done, but it's still fun to look at. You get the boilers, engine room, the machinist room to the right. The propeller could be pulled up for better sailing. This is back in the day when the engines couldn't be run all the time because they'd run out of coal and maybe it would break, and they didn't want the propeller in the way. I don't know if there's equipment locker in the front. Maybe that's the midshipman's area there. Forward, coal bunkers, where they sleep and eat, the crew. That might be the captain's quarters there. We'll see back here, you'll see this area in some of the pictures actually on board in this area. It looks quite different than this. Anyway, fun model, even if it wasn't very clean. We didn't spend much time in the museum area. I took just a couple pictures. Presume these are like powder horns. And this nice looking gun rack. The Marines. And now we're in the captain's cabin. I doubt any of the furniture is actually from the period or from the ship. They just put stuff in there, but not extremely fancy, but very spacious. Living better than the crew.
What year was that ship built, right?
I don't know exactly, but it was around the same time as our Civil War, so 1860s.
Okay.
Gene wanted to steal some of the blue cheese. I recommended against it.
Live a little.
Yeah, that's captain's berth, I think. Anyway, like I said, I don't want to take too much of your time, so I'm going through these quick. You can see what kind of day we had. It was not nice. It rained pretty hard, and the whole time it was very brisk and cold. Just a bunch of ropes on deck. See how big the boom is. Jaws there. This is a propeller that could be pulled up out of the way. The strong back and the pulleys for hauling it up.
They disconnected.
I don't know. I think if they get it in the right position, it'll slide over a key.
Shaft is slotted with
Yeah.
the propeller.
Yeah. I mean, you've all seen masts before, but it's always nice to look at a bunch of complicated rigging. This is the captain's room or the wardroom, maybe. Big smashers. There's steering arrangement and the seat of ease. Gun deck, you can see the capstan here and pumps. This must be a modern addition to keep things in place because there's no way you're swinging that capstan bar around.
Yeah.
And there's your fearless leader. Oh. They had a lot of mannequins or whatever you want to call them about. So there's the cooks. I was impressed by the big timber for securing the end of the bowsprit. You can see the chain. Is this called gammoning or something else? I can't remember. But there's a close-up of it. And then you'd never see this on a model because it's up in the forepeak. But if there's anything like this on the exterior, these little details are the fun things to add for realism. Guy needs a haircut. You see a pump next to the tables there. And this guy was unfortunate. So this ship was in one battle with Austro-Hungarian Empire. I saw the picture of an Austrian ship and a Danish ship at war, and I had to stop for a moment. Like, Austria is landlocked. How could they have a naval battle? I was forgetting that Trieste, which is now in Italy, was part of Austria at the time, so they did have a port. The Danes won that battle, but they quickly lost the war because the Germans just steamrolled them on land. So they lost the lower, what's now Schleswig-Holstein in Germany. That used to be Denmark. They had to give it up. This down low, you can see the timbering. This part's reinforced. They have a sense of humor. They included this little rat. Yeah. So it was fun to get down in there and see this. I included this picture for all of you that do copper plating. It's trying to simulate the nails. That's a lot of nails. There's the color that goes up, so you get a sense of, must be a key in there somewhere. I'd never seen, I don't know if this is leather. I mean, back in the day, they have synthetic. I've never seen a boot around the rudder before. Maybe, I don't know how typical that is or what the purpose is.
That keeps the water from getting into the.
Yeah, that is not normally shown in the model, but that is there.
Actually, was quite common.
Well,
I would have thought there'd be a rudder trunk that would go up in there and then, keep the water out from the inside. But
since it has a screw, though, there'd be a whole lot more cavitation on that kind of boat than it would be a wood sailboat.
Yep.
So there could be a greater need for it.
yeah. We noticed the unusual draft marks, the 10, 5, and 1, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So Jutland is the Danish word for what we say Jutland. Everyone's familiar with the Battle of Jutland. World War I, was it? Yeah. Bunch of timbers for repair. Backside of Jean. They had a rigging loft. I don't know if we were supposed to be in there or not, but I didn't see any signs. You can see the long line of tar staining from where they've been tarring rope. And there was a bunch here that have been freshly tarred, and the aroma was pretty strong. You can see it's still pooled on the floor here. And this guy was serving up a rope. I didn't want to try and use what little Danish I knew. He didn't speak to me, I didn't speak to him, but he looked a little bit annoyed that I was there. But
Did they have a rope walk there at the museum or no?
they might have. I didn't notice it. But yeah, he's like not making eye contact. Another one of those dummies, he forgot to close the door. It's bowsprit. I like the, I don't know what this is, what the term for it is, but the canvas at the end of the rope. Porcelain.
Porcelain.
Yeah. Upper deck. Stacks. Massive yard. Driver. Boom. All right, so when we were done with the frigate, we walked down to a small harbor where they had a bunch of older boats. This one looks vaguely like Stewart's whaleboat. And you see all the plating on the bow to keep the anchor from messing up the wood. This winch has seen better days.
What are these, fishing boats?
Yep. I doubt they're still fishing, but what do I know? Could be. Yeah, some of them still are. They actually have, I take that back, they probably are still fishing because on the west coast of Jutland, there's still a lot of fishing boats that get pulled up on the beach and they look just as old and traditional as these. A lot of them do anyway. That one looks more like a pleasure boat now. All the fancy rope fenders. Tiny motor shoved down in the middle there. There's the harbor. And then this has nothing to do with boats, but it's a beautiful town, so I'm going to walk you through it real fast. There's the church. Very quaint place to take a stroll. This is the city of Ebeltoft. So Carlsberg is probably the best beer in the world, but even their marketers aren't really sure. So I don't. Maybe they took a cue from all the lawyers in the United States, and you say, well, if we say it's the best, we're opening ourselves up to the lawsuit. So would you say it probably is?
So what was the consensus? I'm sure you had to.
I didn't have any Carlsberg, actually. I chose other things.
I probably didn't
I
know.
don't remember.
I'll show you one beer at the end of this slideshow. Anyway, really nice town. Kind of untouched by time. If I remember right, this is a factory where they used to malt barley for beer. And they were going to tear it down, and they found some funding to turn it into offices and retail space. This is one of the frigate's launches that really needs a lot of work. When they're done with it, it won't be. It's like the old joke about, this is my great grandfather's hammer. The head's been replaced twice and the handle 4 times, but it's his. That's the one view where I could get everything in.
Looked like it had a shaft on it, did it?
Yeah, yep. Motor launch. There was a model of a motor launch that I didn't bother to include. It wasn't that interesting, but I don't think it was this one. That one didn't have nearly as much shear. All right, so on our way to dinner, we passed by this manor house, where the lesser nobles used to own, and now it's a working farm. And then here we are in the city of Rue. On like the first Friday of every month in the summer, they have an outdoor night festival where there's like musicians and food vendors on the street. Unfortunately, the weather was bad and we kind of got there late, so we didn't actually see any of that. It ended up just being a tour of the town. This is the guy I used to work with and his girlfriend, Lena. She used to live here. She was really proud of the school that she attended there. She described it as like I don't know what they call it, a halfway school. Like when you're done with high school, but you really don't know what to do before you go to college. And she gave me the impression it was for kids who kind of troublesome. But later when we talked to somebody else, they said, no, that's really the posh kids school. That's where they go when they want a gap year, but aren't traveling or something. But anyway, then at the end, we went to her favorite bar where she seemed to know the entire town. And I strong-armed Jean into trying Gameldansk, this bitter drink. And anyway, she became an honorary member for the day, donned Jean's hat. This is the next day in Yelling. So some old Danish kings and queens are buried in these mounds, a church in the middle. And again, I apologize, this has nothing to do with boats, but one thing I was taken with, when my wife and I would go on day trips when we lived there, we stopped a lot of these little country churches because they're really pretty. And I was always very taken with how neat and tidy and ornate their graveyards are. So I included a few pictures of those. I plan to be cremated, but if our cemeteries look like this, I might actually want a spot. So these stones were carved by a Danish king called Harald Bluetooth, and that's where our Bluetooth got its name. I think it was around 960 AD, and they basically proclaimed Denmark to be a Christian kingdom and maybe lay out some of the history. I don't remember. I meant to look that up before doing this presentation, but
Well, this all harkens back to the Viking era.
Yep, and it was Harold's son that overthrew England for a short time. The English king at that time's name was, I think, Edward the Unready. He orchestrated the massacre of a Danish settlement in England, kind of a peaceful Danish settlement in England. And so in retaliation, the Danes kind of took over the southeast portion of England for a while. Anyway, So this, these white markers on the outside indicate where the city wall used to be. This used to be a walled fortress city. And inside the church, there was a ship model. So at least we have one ship thing here. Votive ship. So this is a replica of the old city wall. And it's really not much wider than what you see there. It almost fits in the image. It's meant for kids to go up and play on. So being kids, Gene and I each took a turn to go up and look like we're looking out for the invaders. Now we're in Esbjerg on the coast at the Fisheries Museum. And they had a large aquarium in there. And this is the eel, which is the quarry for my subject model. And there's Gene in front of the aquarium. The website for this museum really only showed the tip of the iceberg, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to go out of my way to see it. I'm glad we decided to, or I decided to, because it's actually quite well worth it. That's eelgrass, so let's try and model this as a diorama for my ship. It's not an eel, but on the outside they had maybe about 10 old fishing boats. This one was quite nice. Very pronounced shear. The lifeboat on the carriage to haul it to the beach. I didn't show it. Well, you can see the horse tack on the wall here in the corner. I don't know what this was for. It didn't have an engine to my knowledge. I'm not sure what that little hatch in the side would be. Anyway.
That's on the side.
No, it's on the side, yeah. Kick up bottom for the rudder, so when you beach it, get out of the way.
Could have been an intake for a pump.
Could be, but I don't know what they would want what the pump for.
Oats and fiber.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even think I noticed these. That's probably why I took it. The little rope work. I guess that's so you can haul on the chain more easily. But it was a nice detail. That's the house for the lifeboat. This one doesn't look so attractive with its corrugated roof, but on the inside it was interesting. This is a North Sea fishing boat. Can you imagine being in that tiny little galley while it's climbing up and down waves in a storm?
Good.
Just love the lap straight look. You can see how pronounced the nails are, which is why I wanted to bother simulating them on my model. They look kind of bland without it. This is, I guess some of the fishing was seasonal, so they didn't live in these huts year round. So they just had them at the coast for the fishing season. This was not for living in, this was a storage barn, but you can see it's a disused boat turned upside down for the roof. Another old fishing boat. This was for the fjord that goes from, it cuts the Jutland Peninsula in two. That's kind of shallow in spots, so it looks more like a Dutch thing. They had a series of engines all hooked up with cooling water and exhaust and all that, so they must demonstrate them. But there was nothing running the day we were there. That would have been fun to see some of these in action. More fishing. There's notice these sacrificial boards, I guess, for beaching, so you don't wear out the main planks. I thought this was an incredibly small rudder for the size of that boat. Sawmill. Interesting display on the different types of wood, their pros and cons, and where they'd be used on the boat. Steam box. Rigging loft. Smithy. Bean shop. Their old boat. These were bunkers that the Germans built in World War II, and I'm not sure what Gene's peering at me so intently for, but
Old.
this is back on that corrugated metal roof boat, the engine room. I noticed these awkward linkages must be for reversing the prop, changing direction. Inside the main museum, they had a bunch of engines. There's 3 of them here. I think there was more than that. I took a bunch of pictures of those in case I ever wanted to model one. Some really nice models here. I was especially impressed with the deck machinery on them. They did a really good job of that. But not good detail, really cleanly built. You see there's even some rust in the shivs and on the chain. A nice job with the block and tackle and all. Nice wire rope wools. Modern fishing models. Utility engine. When Gene saw this, he had a little PTSD from 2 days before, or 3 days before. He saw this and he said he found a picture of us. So there was a display going on, like 150 years of fishing or something like that, and I don't remember how many, maybe 20 different fishermen they did interviews of, and they had their photographs and their stories. So I thought that's what he was talking about. Like one of the fishermen looked like Gene or looked like me, but as soon as I saw this, I knew what he was referring to. This is the castle we did the quick drive-by of. And then we went to dinner that night with another coworker, and by the end of that, Gene had had enough. But since this is a city where I lived, I wanted to, and our next day was booked, I wanted to at least get out and see a bit of it and go to my favorite watering hole. This was about 11 o'clock at night. I don't remember the day of the week, but reasonably active. And then this is where I stopped for a beer. I had this one, this is the Limsfjord Porter. But unfortunately, they had a big festival the week before, and I guess all their regular patrons were still suffering from a hangover. There was only 2 other people there, which is kind of boring to hang out in a bar with only 2 other people. But there's my Limsfjord Porter. Bar's name is Christian Furtall, which means Christian the Fourth. So King Christian the Fourth. And that's it. So thanks for sticking with me.
All right, very good.
How long did you live in Denmark?
10 months.
10 months?
Yeah.
I guess you were working there.
Yeah, there was a shipyard there. It's out of business now. Like a lot of European shipyards, they can't compete with the Japanese and the Koreans and the Chinese, especially now. They have a 37.5-hour work week and a high wage, and they just can't build ships as cheaply as they need to anymore. But anyone online have a...
Yeah, Warren, do you have anything to show us? You're muted.
I've done a little bit of work I can show you on the stern.
Sure. Yeah, well,
I'm trying to get back to this
Disconnect
Zoom
the-
to...
there's Warren.
Nope, I
Yeah.
don't have anything.
Oh, you don't have anything. All righty. How about you, Tim? Okay, you're muted, Tim.
No, I don't have anything.
All righty. Mort.
Yeah, here we go. You see, if you can see, I did my stern.
Oh, very nice. Oh, wow.
Thank you. I mean, it turned out okay.
More than okay.
Yeah, I guess. I just thought it would have been better, but my workmanship has suffered a little bit, but whatever. I'm still working. That's the main thing. And that's what I'm working on. That now I'm on to the bow.
You
Bad
rescued that ship, didn't you? You rescued it?
Yeah, it's coming along. It is. It's coming along. It is. And that's about it right now.
All right.
I don't know if he heard you.
Yeah, no, we just lost our thing.
Oh,
We're gonna have to-
jeez.
Switch mics.
All
Can you
right,
still hear us, Mort?
Yes.
yeah, we're all good.
Those stern chasers are royally low to the waterline.
All right.
That was
Well,
that was how it came out in the plans, believe it
Yeah.
or not.
Stuart?
Calm seas only.
how about you, Stuart? You got something that you would like to share?
Nope, I don't have anything, sorry.
All right. And Mr. Fallon, how about you?
No, not this month.
And Joe?
I just rid myself of that rigging job of that old model, and I'm on my cheerful, and I'm actually tearing it down and doing a better job on the rigging. So nothing today.
All righty. Jim? And Kevin, how about yourself? All right. Don't hear you.
You're talking to me?
Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, yes.
Yeah, I can show you the capstan I've been working on.
Where is it?
So this is the lower capstan. And we'll be installing it and locking it away. And then we'll be putting the upper capstan on, which is really just a copy of this.
All right, can you keep that image there for just a bit? There we go.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, yes, very nice.
Very nice.
And the lower one again?
This is the lower one. I haven't done the upper one yet.
Oh, you have not done the upper one. Oh, very good. Oh, very good.
So there's about 3 days work on the lathe. And it does all come apart. So
At least once.
probably the varnish. There we go.
Is that going into a model or is it a standalone?
No, this is going into the Thorn, HMS Thorn. And then it'll be locked away and nobody will ever see it.
How many videos do you have on your Thorn on YouTube?
137.
137.
Yeah.
Very good, educational.
Yeah, well, we probably cap out at about 150, I'm hoping.
Okay.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So unless anyone else has anything, we'll finish up the show and tell, and then roll right into the presentation.
Do we think it's good? Do we think it's going to die on us again? And we could do the business, give it a break, or
Well, I hate to fiddle with it while it's
Okay.
working.
all right, we'll try it.
Stop recording.
Yeah.